from the answer you gave, somebody benefiting, the reason somebody is coming into a particular family, because
Okay.
they benefit, they deserve, or they've worked for something, and they are going to that particular family now to benefit, to reap from what they have worked for. So
Correct.
that sort of means that, okay, yeah, I was given an explanation of my own belief of creation. When we are created, I believe God gives everybody, different graces to accomplish their purposes in life. Now, that kind of it's a bit different from your own. When you say the person is coming, and they're saying, oh, who is going to go, and who are we going to give this, or who has this attributes or these qualities to be this person? You make it sound like they're coming from another world. And that's how I see it from what you said. And then you make it sound like, there's something they have done in their previous lives to make them qualified to be this person, to be in this person who should be deserving of a certain family. Is that what you were trying to say?
Correct, exactly that. Both of your assumptions are right for what I'm trying to say.
But how is that true, though?
Well, God
Coming
does
from,
not.
okay.
Yeah, God does not give attributes.
Grace, precisely. He puts this, he gives you the grace for a specific task. This is who you've been called to be. This is this purpose, you've been called to live on earth.
All right, no problem. You answer your question by yourself. Now, so God chooses those that he gives certain grace to, so that they can accomplish the purpose that he's sending them for, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So everyone here on earth was sent by God, or are there some of us that were not sent by God?
I believe we
So
are all God's creation.
Okay, and then all sent here for one reason or the other. So none of us is here by mistake. You just go and accompany them. Don't do anything.
No, I believe we're all here for a purpose. No mistake.
Okay. All right. So if we work with that belief, with that assumption, then, but we're not all doing well, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Some of us actually suffer. I mean, some of us have been suffering from day one, even up to, in spite of all of this consciousness, awareness that we're trying to raise, there is still no hope at all for some people, right?
Very true.
Okay. So that selective God must be wicked, kind of. Because why would he choose some people? I mean, we're all his creation, we're all his children. So why did he choose some people and say, you have special tasks, you, I give you this grace, you go and excel. You, your task is not so Herculean, therefore no grace. I did not give you. Or did he give everyone grace?
Truth is,
you asked your question. Yeah?
Truth is, I do not know how much grace is given to everybody, but I know we do not have equal grace.
Okay, let me not stress you further. God is not partial.
God is not partial. True.
He's not partial. He's not selective. We are all equally loved. We are all part of God. The Spirit, his Spirit in us is not selective. There's no bigger spirit, smaller spirit, purer spirit. We are all God's representative in our varying and various forms. So, if we say God is not partial and you say it's true, then we should not have any explanation in any way that depicts God as, hey, come, you are my special one, take this one. That one, you are not my special one, don't take this one. No. So if that invalidates that explanation, how about this explanation? At the beginning, everything was new. And we knew nothing. We were as pure as, maybe not as pure, maybe not as pure as the purest form of God, maybe not as, we're just blank. So we had a blank book of life individually. So when we started life, now we know by this teaching that it's not just your actions that are recorded and scored. Even more important than your action, even before you take actions, your thoughts, your mind is already read, and the thoughts that are impressed right there, they are extracted and written down for you as something that you have done. So just like you wish those couples, oh, beautiful couples, I love you, I release blessings unto you, just like it's already captured for you. Oh, this lady is talking about couples, beautiful couples, and is sending out well wishes. Angel, giver of a couple, look into her case. It's already registered for you, even when you did not voice it out. Now, that blank book that was originally blank, by our actions and our thoughts, as we send them forth to the universe is feeling us from there and is writing down. For this action, this is the reward, and it's written there. For this action, oh, I hear him emanating, kill him, record it there. And then that blank book, that book that was originally blank, will now begin to fill it up by our actions, our inactions in form of our thoughts. So everything that we do, everything that we think becomes a seed that we are planting. And at some point, and every principle that we practice will be written there. So at some point, what is written on chapter 1 as we give, like a diary, we give this homeless man $50. We searched her mind and we found that it was out of genuine love. In fact, she was even weeping while she was doing that. She was so touched. She wished to give a home, but she could not afford it. This was written there. And as that was written, as you're doing, automatically by the programming, even if it's manual, on chapter 17 or chapter 16 or chapter 10 somewhere, it will be written that as a result of this chapter 1's giving and good spirit, this reward shall happen in chapter 27, when we also will reap 15 times, 12 times, 400 times this which she has sown on chapter 17. So even though the book was blank at the beginning, as we live our lives, we are writing into this book. And once it is written, nothing can be erased from this book. So this book forms our destiny. Destiny meaning that things that must happen in our lives as a result of what we had planted by our actions and by our thoughts in the past. So God himself, nobody can change. I mean, it's a law. It's his own principle. Now, God has to follow his own principle or principles to work. If God can relax and say, you know what, this principle will no longer work like I, then there will be disorder. This orderly universe, everything will just crumble and fall. So God, first of all, honors his own law So that, in fact, we are part of God. So once God honors, then who are we? All of us, we're just like drops as part of God.
Mm-hmm.
So, because he honors and cannot change, that is why your fervent prayers of, hey, I want to change this. Hey. No, that's where it becomes obvious that it will not work. Once it is written, it must come to pass. So the same way that your good cannot be overwritten and you cannot be stopped from enjoying the fruit of your labor in love, so also would your, of course, this is some, so also would your sin, I don't know what else to call it, your evil, not go unpunished. Because God will become a Nigerian that will look the other way once it's time to punish you for evil. And then when it's time to reward you for good, he will look this way and reward you. No, that is a corruptible judge. And the world is built with, not just the world, the universe entirely is built with purity, such that the minute and the purity, the nature of purity in attribute is love. The minute impurity in terms of being corrupt goes in, God is not just favoring that person. God is actually destroying his own work. Because once you allow wrath into iron, that wrath will find its way and eat into iron gently until it. So, how would God want to destroy his own work just because he wants to please part of himself? Anyway, it's not even pleasing. But back to the matter. So that book becomes our destiny. So every man becomes what he lives, the thoughts he releases, the action he takes, and the attributes that he builds for himself over time. So that is where the attributes come from, not that God says, let me give you patience so that you can deliver this. Where is he going to get it from? So you build your own patience over 1,000 years, 1 million years, 5 million years. And then when it is time to use that patience, this man has developed enough patience. Let's use him. When the earth now announces that we need somebody who has this patience, who has this level of this one, who has this level, that is when you can say, yes, I qualify, I can do it. And if the word now says, I will need somebody who is pure, who has no sin, who did this, it would only take somebody who was once a sinner to become a saint. A saint cannot be made. If a saint, even your holy book proves that. If a saint was made and made a saint, he cannot be a saint because he has not gone through the rigor and through the transformation of seeing sin and conquering sin. You have to have seen sin, understood sin, and conquer it before you can become a saint. You cannot be made. So the same reason that baby would avoid candlelight and avoid fire next time, because when nobody was watching, he went there and she was burnt by the fire. Next time, he knows not to go to fire. That is the way saint was developed over years. So anybody that was made to become saint that he can be is not a saint. Because the first temptation he would find, he would see, he's going to fall yakata-like, even more than human. So we all had to pass through this stage of infancy in spirituality, not necessarily physically. Born, go through, and then we grow through all of this. And this is why it's part of the reason we're here on earth, to develop all of these attributes. Patience here, trust here, faith, very important. Faith here, and then most important of all, love. We built all of this. to make us into the new being that even when we return home, it can be said of us, oh, you went to earth and when you left, you were at level 60. Now you're on level 61.5. Oh, you have on this area, maybe this, just building you until, like we said, you become perfect. So God does not make you what he wants it to be. You develop. He leads you through challenges, through suffering, through all of these things that we are discussing in life, about life, to become the next you. And that is how you become you, not because you were made so. So before we came into this world, not even before, let's not go there. Now that we're in this world, part of our future has already been determined. What will happen tomorrow is already, not everything, part of it is already determined. What will happen in our lives 20 years' time is already determined by what we did yesterday, by what we did 20 years ago, by what we did 30 years ago. It's now too late for us to undo that which we did. To say we planted an evil seed and we do not want the repercussion to happen in the future. Nothing can stop it. It could be delayed. You might influence the delay, but not, apparently the eye of human, because nothing actually delayed. Even when it appears like you are successfully delayed it, it is because nature is just watching you and say, use all of your energy. When you finish all of your energy and you have nothing more to use, I'll come and collect that which you owe me. All right, so because of what we have done in the past, whether good or evil, we have reward and punishment waiting for us in the future that we cannot but come to experience. That is destiny. However, it is not all the pages of our future that have been written. We still have many blank pages to fill. And by what we do today, we cannot change, we cannot write the pages of our future and determine what our tomorrow will be. So this is why we say we have our destiny, the blank pages in our hands. We have always had it in our hands. Even now, we still have it in our hands. We can feel right, oh, you know what? Everything that I have lived up to now, I do not like it. I want to begin to do things. I want to have a good future. We can start now by living the right way now, by practicing principle now. Because practice of principle always brings reward, 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 reward. It doesn't mean that we are already perfect and therefore we cannot make mistakes that will still attract punishment. It does not mean that, but it just means that we are now consciously working to observe principles so that we now have reward, 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 enjoy and enjoyment waiting for us in the future. So the combination of what we have done in the past and what we are doing now is what determines our future, not written by somebody. Yes, it has been written and it cannot be changed, but we were the ones who wrote them by our past life.